The realm. Do you know what the realm is? It's the 1,000 blades of Aegon's enemies. A story we agree to tell each other over and over till we forget that it's a lie.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back for another Game of Thrones Season 8 video. Today I want to talk about one of my videos that I made over a year ago. I'm assuming that most of you did see that video because it has nearly 500,000 views as of right now. That video was called The Top 10 Missing Characters That Are Still Alive in This Show. The reason why I want to talk about this again is because I haven't talked about most of these characters in a very long time. Now that the final season is just right around the corner, I'm wondering if any of you think any of these characters will actually make a return to the show next season. Also, make sure you stay until the very end of the video because I will be announcing the winner of the new giveaway, but let's get started. Like I said, there are a bunch of different characters who we haven't seen in quite some time. Now, the chances of these characters ever returning might be very slim, but since they are technically still alive, then there is always a chance of them showing back up in the story once again. The first character I talked about in that video was Jaqen H'ghar, and that was mainly because he has been missing for the least amount of time. We did see him at the very end of Season 6 when Arya Stark left Braavos, but we never did see him during last season. You have to keep in mind, this was a character that we met at the very beginning of the second season of the show. Jaqen H'ghar had been in the story for a very long time, so it would be kinda disappointing if we never did see him again. Now, of course, there is one very interesting thing about Jaqen H'ghar. He has the ability to change his face, so we might have actually seen him last season without even knowing it was him. As we all know, he was the key figure in Arya Stark's character development. Since Arya Stark is still alive and kicking, we could very well see Jaqen show up where Arya would least expect it. With only 6 episodes left, we don't have that much time, but since this character has always been a fan favorite, I am hoping the showrunners have one final act for our old friend Jaqen H'ghar. Let me know if you think we will ever see him again. Another character that was on that list was Kinvara. The last time we saw her was also during Season 6, when she met with Varys and Tyrion. Now, if you remember that scene, it did seem like Kinvara was about to become a regular character in the story, but obviously we haven't seen her since. What she said to Varys has always made me think that we would see her again. As we all know, Varys has been a major player ever since the first season of the show, and we know what happened to Varys when he was a child has haunted him ever since.
You heard a voice call out from the flames, do you remember? Should I tell you what the voice said? Should I tell you the name of the one who spoke?
During that scene, Kinvara made one thing very clear. She knows what the voice in the flames said to Varys. Ever since she revealed that she knew his secret, I am hoping that she will eventually tell all of us as well. Now, the good thing is, we do know that Melisandre is on her way to Volantis, which is most likely where Kinvara is located. Now, whether or not Melisandre returns with Kinvara is still unknown, but we all know she had to go there to get someone or something. Since Kinvara is a very high-ranking member from the Faith of R'hllor, I think the chances of her returning to the show are very good. Let me know if you think she will return with Melisandre. The next character that was mentioned was Illyrio, also known as Viserys and Daenerys' sugar daddy. I'm still not exactly sure when we last saw him, but I believe it was during the first season when Arya overheard him speaking with Varys. Now, as far as we know, this character should still be alive, and he obviously had some very close ties to Varys. Their plans were set in motion before the events of Game of Thrones even begun. Since Varys is still in the show, you have to wonder if he is still corresponding with Illyrio in some way. Now, we do know that they had been talking for quite some time because Varys took Tyrion to his house in the 5th season after they fled King's Landing. In the books, Tyrion spends a lot of time with Illyrio, but we never did see their interactions in the show. That makes me wonder, where the hell did that character go? He was basically the caretaker of Dany and Viserys for a number of years. He did even help them set up the wedding between Daenerys and Khal Drogo, but one of the most important things he did was give Daenerys her dragon eggs. Now that those dragons are fully grown, and Daenerys has went on to become a queen in her own right, you would think she would have reached out to him at some point over the course of 7 seasons. Since we haven't seen him in so long, we may never see him again, but I did not forget about him. The next character has never actually been seen in the show, except for one of Bran Stark's flashbacks, and that is Howland Reed. Now, I did just recently talk about this character in one of my last videos, so I will try to keep it short. What we do know is he is Mira and Jojen Reed's father, and he was also one of Ned Stark's best friends. As far as we know, he is the only character that is still alive who was present at the Tower of Joy. Well, except for Jon Snow, but he doesn't remember any of it. We know that Howland Reed was alive at the time of Ned Stark's death because Jojen told us that he did see his father cry when he heard the news.
When I told my father about your father, the first time in my life I saw him cry.
Your father is Howland Reed.
Since Mira Reed was on her way home last season, maybe she will cause her father to show up in the story next season. I imagine that Mira will tell him about Bran's flashbacks and the return of the White Walkers. Hopefully this will get Howland Reed to show up in Winterfell and tell us everything that he knows. Not only can he confirm the truth about Jon Snow's parents, but he might also hold some information that can help against the Night King. Some of you may not know this, but Howland Reed actually spent some time on the Isle of Faces, or the God's Eye. Since that location has a very large network of weirwood trees, there is no telling what Howland Reed may know about the White Walkers, or just the future in general. I don't know about you, but I would love to find out what Howland Reed was able to learn when he was there. Another character we haven't seen since Season 6 is Edmure Tully. As we all know, he has been a prisoner of House Frey ever since the Red Wedding. Thanks to Arya Stark, House Frey is on the verge of extinction, so maybe Edmure Tully will gain his freedom before the show does come to an end. According to Walder Frey, he had Edmure locked back up in the cells at the Twins after Jaime had helped them retake River Run.
Edmure's back in the cell. Can't go killing my son by law, wouldn't be right. Give the family a bad name.
When we saw Arya wipe out the Freys last season, I was hoping she would set him free, but for whatever reason, they never did show that scene. I can only assume that's where he's still at. Now that almost all of the men from House Frey are dead, maybe one of the daughters or granddaughters will let him out. We also know that Jaime is most likely on his way to Winterfell, and I believe he may make a few stops along the way. Jaime and Edmure were both in one of the most well-acted scenes of Season 6, when we saw them speak together in the tent. During that scene, Edmure did give a little speech about Jaime and his character. Now that Jaime's left Cersei, maybe he will remember what Edmure had said to him. Therefore, Jaime might be the one to set him free, but only time will tell. Now this next character is very mysterious, not only in the show but in the books as well. I am of course referring to a character known as Quaife, from the Shadowlands Beyond the Shy. I know this is a character who I would love to see again. Even though she wasn't in very many scenes, she was obviously a very interesting character. Although she did caution Ser Jorah Mormont, we really don't know her true intentions. In the books, she talks to Daenerys about the prophecies that have yet to be revealed. That has always made me wonder what her actual endgame is.
Do I know you?
I know you. Jorah Mormont of Bear Island.
Who are you?
I'm no one. But she is the mother of dragons. She needs true protectors, now more than ever. They shall come day and night to see the wonder born into the world again. And when they see, they shall lust.
What else does she have in store for Daenerys Targaryen? Is she really trying to help her out, or are her intentions more sinister than we initially thought? I actually don't think we will ever see her again, but I really wish we could because she would make things a hell of a lot more interesting if we could get her in the same room with characters like Melisandre and Bran Stark. Now that the Night King is on his way, I will not be surprised if a bunch of old characters show up to provide some type of service. Let me know if you think we have seen the last of Quaife. Now of course I cannot forget about that little shithead Robin Arryn. I believe the last time we saw him was during the 5th season when Littlefinger and Sansa left the Eyrie. He technically has control of the Knights of the Vale, although Littlefinger was the one who was actually making all the moves. Now that Littlefinger is dead, you have to wonder how Robin Arryn will react to that news. As we all know, he was very fond of Littlefinger after all. Do you think there is a chance that he could try to get the Knights of the Vale to leave Winterfell for what the Starks did to Littlefinger? I imagine that Sansa would just tell him that Littlefinger was the one who killed his mother, but you never quite know what will happen next season. All we can really try to do right now is make some educated guesses, and I put quotes around educated when it comes to me. Even though not too many fans actually like that character, he still does deserve some type of closure. He does have control over a very large army that is experienced when it comes to fighting in the ice and snow. He also has a castle that could come in handy if the Night King should ever take over Winterfell. I would like to think that we will see Robin Arryn again, but let me know what you think. Another character I can't forget is Salladhor Sam, the long-lost friend of Sir Davos. One of the last times we saw this character was back in Season 4, when Davos and Stannis went to the Iron Bank for a loan. Thanks to Davos, the loan was given the green light. Davos then went to Salladhor Sam and he gave him a nice piece of change for his services. At that time, they needed to use his ships to escort the sellswords up to the wall. Since then, I really can't tell you where this character has went. Now, what's interesting about this character is he does say something very important in the books. Thanks to Salladhor Sam, he is the reason that we found out about how Lightbringer was made by Azor Ahai. Even though Melisandre is the one who talks about that legendary character the most, it's Salladhor Sam who fills us in on some of the most interesting details. He is the one who tells Davos the story about how Azor Ahai had to forge a sword 3 times before he could create Lightbringer. And of course, that 3rd time was when he stuck his sword in Anissa Nissa's chest. I was hoping that Salladhor Sam could tell us that story in the television show as well, but we may never see him again, although we did not see him die. Since we will see a lot of characters travel by sea next season, there is still a slim chance that he could show up once again. We know that Jon, Dany, and Davos are traveling on the sea as we speak. We know that Euron Greyjoy has to travel to Essos and back, and we know that Melisandre has to travel to Essos and back. We also know that Theon Greyjoy will be traveling around the seas as well, so maybe one of these characters will run into him somewhere along the way. So as you can see, there are still many different storylines that were left open from over the years. The only problem is we might not have enough time to visit some of the minor characters that just seem to disappear. However, with most of the main cast having to travel around Westeros next season, maybe, just maybe, we will run into some of our old friends again. Let me know which of these characters you think has the best chances of showing up again. Now let's move on to the winner of the giveaway. Let's see which one of you will go home with the A Song of Ice and Fire book collection. The winner of the new giveaway is Shannon Dodson. Congratulations, Shannon. Just make sure you send me an email, that way I can find out where I need to send the books. If you did not win today, don't worry because I will be starting a new one right away. Just make sure you come back for the next video to find out all of those details. Thanks for watching today's video, I really appreciate that, and I also want to thank everyone on Patreon for supporting the channel. I hope you all have a great day. I will see you again very soon. Bye.